we have a classic transportation problem with binary constraints here. So a company has a choice of they're designing their supply chain, and they have a choice of starting three factories, one in Brazil, Philippines, and Mexico. If they have a factory in Brazil, they incur a fixed cost of $50,000. If they have one in Philippines, it's $35,000, and if they have a factory in Mexico, it's $60,000. These fixed costs are incurred only if they have a factory there. And then there are the variable cost. Brazil has $1,000 per unit and $900 per unit and $1,600 per unit in Mexico. The production capacities in these three factories are given by these three numbers here. And these are the unit transportation costs in dollar hundreds. So if I ship something from Brazil to Central America, I have a cost of $900. So from Philippines to Europe is $400. Now, my objective here is to minimize the total cost. Total cost is composed of three things here: the transportation cost, the variable cost, and the fixed cost. So the first thing that I try to do is find, would I need to actually run all the three plants, all the three factories? So I try to find my total demand, which is equal to sum of all these numbers. It's 65, and total capacity, which is equal to sum of all these numbers here. Oh, 105. So this is telling me that I could actually run any two factories, either one Brazil and Philippines, and yet have a capacity of 70. If I run Philippines and Mexico, I have a capacity of 675. If I run Philippines and Brazil and Mexico, I have 65, which still satisfies my demand. So I have choices. That's what this model is telling me. I can produce. I don't have to run all three factories. All right. So how do I make this decision? A classical would be to make use only the transportation cost, but we know we have fixed cost and variable costs also here. So to take that into account, I first move my texts a little bit away so that I can use that space there. All right. So once I move the text away, I need to recreate. I'm assuming you already know the basic transportation, and that you have seen the videos on transportation methods. I'll unzoom it a little bit so I get more space. You could full screen your YouTube video if these numbers are not visible here. So anyways, this is where I'm going to decide how much to transport um, from where to where. So this column is what I would call as total received, and this column, I'll create a column here as total supplied, and this total is sum of all these numbers. Copy these formula here, and this is sum of all these numbers here. All right, so this is, so if I ship one from Brazil to Central America, yeah, shows one supply. All right, and now I need the costs. So I have my total transport cost. I'm going to increase this first column so I can is equal to, we should know this formula, some product perfect. This is my total transportation cost. So if I ship one unit from Brazil to Mexico, I have a cost of 900, not 9. So I need to multiply this by 100, right? Yes, so it gives me 900. Works. If I ship one more from Europe, it should be 9 plus 7, 1600. Yes, 1600. Very good. This formula works. Now my next is the total variable cost. And to find my total variable cost, I need to know how much was actually produced. Right, so whatever this number is here, so I will have equal to some product, the total produced, comma, the variable cost. And I also, so let's suppose I produce, let's check every time we write a formula, we should ideally check it. Let's say I produce 10 here. Perfect, it gives me a variable cost of 1000. And I produce 10 more here, it should give me 1000, 1900, 19,000. Yes, it does give me 19,000. So these numbers are valid. And then my total fixed cost. So I have to create one more variable as called production decision. This is sort of a binary number. It'll be 0 and 1. It'll be 1 if I decide to use that factory, and it'll be 0 if I decide not to use that factory. So this is going to be binary. So this number equal to some product of the production decision 1 0 and the fixed cost. So if it's 0, it will multiply 0 by the fixed cost, and I will not have the variable or the fixed cost for that component. So let's suppose, let us create the table here. Let us suppose I decide to produce in Brazil and Mexico. It gives me the fixed cost of 1100, which works, and this is 0. And yes, the formula works. And I have the total cost, which is the sum of all these three costs. I think this formula should work. We don't need to check this. So what we've done here is created the basic sheet, the basic formulas. And in the next video, we are going to try and add some constraints, see if this works, and improve this and get the allocation of production decisions, total produced, and transportation networks, so that our total cost is minimized.